So, um, all right, Mr. Ray,
Mr. Terry.
why don't you tell us who you are, what you do, and what is your company and what do you specialize in?
Yeah, I'm Ray Gutoski. I'm currently the National Sales Director for CPC Coatings, which is the industrial division of Crossfield Products. Um, I've been doing this just a little over 30 years on the industrial flooring side. I think I started when I was old enough to start hauling ladders and buckets with my dad. He was a commercial painter. So, been in coatings minute, to say the least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was the second part of that question?
What do you do? Which you already
Yeah.
did,
Okay.
national, and then what is your company and what do they specialize in?
Yeah. So, CPC Coatings is a division of Crossfield Products, and we are targeting industrial flooring contractors and projects. So, a full line of those products: epoxies, primers, base coats, polyurethanes, polyaspartics, urethane cements, ESD, primarily everything minus MMA and vinyl ester.
Which are pretty nasty things, right?
Yeah, that's a different commitment level that, you know, the people who do that well should continue to do it well, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
How did you get into the industry, and what was the hardest challenge you had to overcome in the beginning?
Well, getting back to being, a child, when my dad would take me to work every day, that's how I got in the industry.
Gotcha.
Um, and it's probably like yourself, you hated every minute of it when you were getting dragged from things you wanted to do to go work.
Yeah.
um, and that went on probably through shoot college. you know
Adulthood.
yeah, I mean,
A little farther.
it's funny how you start out doing the remedial stuff that kids can do,
Yeah.
and then by the time I was 16, I was as good of a painter, job guy as the older guys were. Then as I even got older and stronger, I remember being on projects with my dad's crew, and they're like, "Stop going so fast."
Yeah. Because
So
when you start so young, you learn so much.
yeah, and I mean, I think looking back when you see that with other crews right now, how they can walk onto a job site and go right, you kind of appreciate how that happens,
Yes.
right? So that's so those kind of origins, like your origin story of like having to do that. So the origin story of going to work every day and learning that way, right? And then in my mid 20s, I started selling latex and architectural enamels on the streets in Chicago for a private label paint manufacturer there. So we'd call on institutions like the museums, the stadiums, big buildings, and sell just fives of everything.
I
Um,
gotcha.
and that kind of moved into. So at that point in time, it was interesting with the floors because Benjamin Moore, Pratt and Lambert, some of these other architectural paint suppliers were looking at the maintenance coatings, like what Rust-Oleum was doing, and the only solution they really had were the porch and deck enamels,
Oh.
right? And then you would just paint those over and over and over and over. So they loved, the paint manufacturers loved that because you were redoing it, park benches and stuff. But then these other people like Benjamin Moore and Brett Lambert, they moved into epoxies. So that was my first exposure to industrial flooring. And so you're doing back of the house stuff, you're doing elevator vestibules, stairways, whatever, heavy trafficked areas. And then
The places people don't see, right?
none of the places
Yeah.
you see, none of them. Remember, I never saw them either before then. I had no idea what the hell I was talking about or what I was doing, but that
Yeah.
didn't stop us.
Yeah.
But then, this will show my age a little bit. I answered an ad in the Chicago Tribune, the Sunday
In the
line
newspaper.
ads,
In the newspaper.
yeah, for Stoneheart,
Ah.
and that's how I got into it really deep.
That was a big jump, huh?
Yeah, it was a big jump, and a bunch of interviews. I don't think they really wanted to hire me at the beginning, but then there was a guy who was like, "Yeah, let's see what he's got." So it was a good start. A lot of training.
So they had a lot of training for you when you first started.
Yeah, I got they do really well. Or at least they did with that part. You would go to headquarters in Maple Shade, New Jersey, and do a couple of weeks of straight product and chemical training.
Oh,
And then I think for the next 90 days, I was on projects every day. So that regardless, in you being from Chicago, there's always something going on. It's not always the same system.
right.
So you got to bounce around and look at the different systems being installed, different conditions, different crews, the way people operate. And, it was a lot. It's like full immersion.
Yeah.
But, looking back, it still wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was more than most, right?
Well, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And that even then, like even now, there's none of that now. Right. So, lucky, unlucky, lucky
Yeah.
it was going on, unlucky they have to,
Go through it.
yeah. But I mean, it sets the tempo for sure. And you do learn the basics. I think I'd say that all the time. Every day's a school day. Conditionally with this type of work, you're always going to find new stuff, and then you got to get on the phone and start calling people and see who's dealt with it,
Yeah.
who has it,
Yeah.
and then
Nothing's ever the same.
no. But different way to it was a good way to start, and then
Where'd you go from there?
I spent 5 years at Stonehard, and like everybody else who works at Stonehard, you pretty much get fired.
Yeah. Okay.
The industry's just littered with guys like me.
Yeah.
Maybe the older ones have retired.
Yeah.
There's not too many younger ones, but there's a handful of me still,
Yeah.
rolling around, which is funny. Then did a job, did a little bit of time with a contractor, and then worked for Sika.
Okay.
Right when Sika kind of took their industrial flooring and started to mold it together. They bought a group out of Canada called Covercrete, which was their urethane cement,
Oh.
acquisition. Then they bought Garland, who was predominantly an ESD,
Oh.
known for their ESD flooring. And so they kind of, acquired some things and put some things together. And it was right at the start of that.
That was a good experience, wasn't it?
It's an experience.
Okay.
They're all experiences, Terry. They're all experiences. We try not to judge them.
Well, I mean,
They were good for some things and better for others, but
Yeah.
they were all good.
yeah.
And then spent some time there, and then it was interesting that a friend of mine had a connection with the ownership group at Arizona Polymers. So that was actually a lot of fun at the beginning. They were $6 million company, really organic, family-run group, running out of 2 buildings that had a driveway between them, and they made it happen. It was, so to get there early and be able to grow the company, you think we did like little leaps, like 6 to 8 million to 12, and I think the last year that the family owned the company, it was like around $25 million worth of business. So
That's pretty cool to see that, huh?
yeah, to be a part of it was a lot of fun. Yeah, and then ICP bought Arizona Polymers, and I was director of the industrial flooring group there, and learned a lot. And then,
Here you are.
and here I am. Yeah. So Crossfield's a great company. They've been around since 1938. Their origin story is unique too, because it actually, so Crossfield's the parent, and underneath that there's Dexotex Marine, Dexotex, Miracoat, and CPC Coating. So that Dexotex name, and I didn't even know this, until I'd been there for a while. The origin is decks of latex
Oh.
for ships.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they've been, engineering systems and products for quite some time. And then, you get into current where, you're the epoxies, polyurethanes and such. And those are, I think, pretty
Do they
standard
still
stuff.
do they still deal with the ships?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, the Marine Division. Yeah, shout out to Corey.
The Corey.
Corey's the man.
Corey's the man.
He's the man.
All right. Well, all right, let's go to this one. In business, in your time in business, since it's been some time, right?
Yeah.
Yep. What was a sticky situation that made you better? And how did you handle it? And what did you learn? I'm sure there's a few.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean,
What is one that stands out?
the first, I don't know how many of the first years, at least the first 5 years, it's a steady diet of shit sandwiches.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It takes a while before you get to the steak.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
So
I mean, yeah. There's fleeting glances at it, the smell here and there, but it's a lot of things that have to be. It's a solutions oriented gig.
Yeah.
And that's it. So, I mean, working for a company like Stonehard was good at the time because it taught you that regardless of what happens, you will get it done. So there's always a way, right? I mean, this,
Yeah.
right? There's always a way.
Just figuring it out, right?
Well, it's all figuring it out.
Yeah.
You come in with, it's like anything. Like it could be an old house. You take a hammer and hit the wall. You got an intention of what you're going to find, but you never know what you're going to find.
Right.
Right. Same thing with the floors and the buildings and the industrial pieces. The pro side of the business is if you've got like a brain like me, who I love that.
Yeah. The challenge.
The challenge, and then all that outside, information. How do they make this? Oh, what does that machine do? What? So you get into all these facilities, and sometimes they're in great shape, and sometimes they're not in such great shape. So I remember putting a chipping hammer through the floor of a meat plant on the second floor, and it went right out of my hands and hit the first floor. So we had to evacuate the building because apparently the second floor wasn't as stable as one would think.
I'm sure that was very interesting.
That was, still surprising. But yeah, it's always a challenge.
Yeah.
Right. Middle of the night, digging stuff out. You didn't think was there. Bringing cement in the next morning. Hot. All those things. So, but it does give you a certain resolve after a while, and a confidence that you can. Yeah, you'll fix something.
Figure it out.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's why the podcast name is, pretty funny.
It's a sticky situation, right?
Yeah, at best.
Yeah. I mean, a hole in the floor is pretty.
I mean, it's not even
uncommon,
like,
right?
Yeah, it's like not even. It was like just a baby chipping hammer. It wasn't like a hammer.
Yeah.
So when you go to make the next move, it just kind of goes. That's
Yeah.
a little surprising. But it could be anything, especially in Chicago, right? You've got summer's hotter and humid than you care to want. Same thing
Yeah.
in Texas and a lot of places like
Yeah.
that, right? So you got to, and then at the beginning, we didn't have urethane cement. So it was, just epoxy.
Yeah.
So now with urethane cement, if it gets too hot, you got to get it refrigerated. You got to plant, there's tons of things you got to
There's a lot to
foresee.
Yeah.
And, once again, when you're young, you don't know all that, right? So you tend to not see it.
You just try it.
Until it pops its head and you're like, oh man, okay, didn't know, copy.
Yeah.
I got it, I'll fix it.
Yeah. When we first started, it was rough.
Yeah.
You learned really quick.
Yeah.
Financially and physically.
And some don't, right? And there's that. So, but then you get through to the winter and it's the same thing, only different, right? Like, how do you get the blast track through the snow? How do you get to the dock? How do you get the material to get unfrozen?
Yeah.
Why are there crystals in it? What do we do here?
Yeah. Why is everything wet?
Why? And and even the best plan, even when all that, something's going to get you.
Still happens.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day. Pipes breaking in a food plant. All of a sudden the work you just did is flooded. So. I should have done this at the beginning, but thank you for putting this podcast together. And I mean, I think it's we had a conversation recently, a couple of weeks ago, between a couple of guys that was really good, right?
Yeah.
Really enlightening. And it wasn't just about the business; it was about growth, spirituality, all those things. And, there's some platforms that we use like LinkedIn and maybe even YouTube. You can post some things, but it's surface stuff, right?
Yep.
And so to get people who've been around a while to be able to discuss other things, right, in an open forum, and be able to share those things is
Pretty cool.
yeah, it's good. So I applaud you for that. So thanks for the invite, and
Appreciate it.
I will get you a copy of that book. One of the things I like about the way you're doing it and getting the announcements out is you're framing it with certain messaging that's super positive, right?
Yeah.
So my gift to you once we get out of here will be a book from Stephen Pressfield called
The War of
The
Art.
War of Art. Yeah, and I like it, and I just listened to it about a month ago again to review it, and I even liked it more.
Yeah.
It's not preachy. I like it because Pressfield is the narrator of his own material, and he's got he brings his point across, I think, very well. And I don't think it really matters if you've been in the business a long time or you're just getting going. Not even this business, any business. It's just it really sets a format for what it takes, and he refers to it to turn pro.
Yeah.
Some people say 10,000 hours of doing what you're doing to turn pro or whatever, but it's just a level. It points to a level of commitment that you have to have, regardless of what's going on in the situation.
Yeah. The commitment's a big part.
Commitment, and so as you're sharing those things with others, I'd like to share that with you so you can. And that it's not preachy or virtue signaling. Someone else going to bust my balls for giving you a book that like, oh, you can't believe no, it's good. I think everybody would benefit from that. So,
and I appreciate you coming on and
of course,
doing this with me.
But
whether you wanted to or not,
I totally do. No. 100% do. 100% commitment. So that conversation that we had, I don't know if I told you this, but when it got into that parasite thing. Right, parasites in your body. Yeah, I had that. So when I got back from that trip, I self-diagnosed. So shout out to Brandon Stryker. For the enlightenment. And
Did you go through the?
I went through the protocol.
Did you?
I did. Yeah. And
was it brutal?
The protocol I did was immediate.
Okay.
So I took it to another level. It wasn't as organic.
Okay.
It was more medical.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah. That had to happen. So,
because he was talking about all of that.
Yeah, which I think at another time I'll do for sure. Especially, people who travel a lot, right?
Yeah.
And people who are on job sites and they're all anything with your hands.
Yeah.
We kind of take for granted what we're doing with our hands, and there's some of those things that latch on, and you have no.
And you don't even really know.
You have no
idea. And it could be a while.
And it could, sleeping in hotels, eating in restaurants, airplanes, I'm in about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But, to be a realist until it happens to you, right? So
then you don't really understand.
I just thought it was just, a combination of, foreign food and maybe a little bad behavior.
Oh, is that what happened?
I think that factors into some of those things, but I digress now. But big, those kinds of conversations we don't really get to talk about too much. So hopefully, as this thing gains traction for you, we can do more of that because there's a lot of really good folks.
There are
a lot,
and there's a lot buying in, and I think it's really cool for the industry.
Yeah,
and then as us as business people also. I think it's a big deal.
Yeah, guys my age that own businesses talk about times when, they would call other contractors that were friends of theirs, right? Hey, I got a job in your area, I need some guys.
Yeah.
Or hey, man, I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Can you send me some material or whatever? And it was friendly.
Yeah.
And then I think as that group of contractors aged and maybe kind of started to do things differently, and the business certainly has changed, with the acquisitions and the mergers and moving and
the big players.
Yeah, I see a little bit of a gap there, and the older guys, because I get to talk, I'm like a bridge between everybody. The younger guys are super aggressive, and the older guys are like, wow, we really had kind of a cool thing going. It would be nice to get that going again.
And I like that part. And that's kind of our business model is working together with everybody, right?
Yeah.
And then the podcast to bring everybody into and start actually talking, rather than surfacely talking.
Right. And I think there's more people of like mind.
Yeah.
Right. Than
not.
Yeah. So, it used to be like, oh, he's my competitor.
Yeah.
And then description would follow after that. It wasn't so friendly.
Right. It has been that way, those guys. Let's not talk to those guys because.
Not saying there aren't a faction of those people around, that, they're tough to work with for sure.
Yeah.
But I think there's an opportunity now for some, like I would say next generation movement.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe it's upon us.
Yeah. And it needs to happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Conversation rather than the email, the text message, the social media.
Yeah. The gray area.
Yeah. The gray.
Yeah. I mean, this business will never be gray. There's no app.
There's no way.
There's no fancy training.
No, you can't.
There's no machine.
The phone's not going to do it for you.
No, I mean,
there's no AI that's going to put the floor down for you.
Not yet. I mean, we can figure that out.
Maybe in a large format, but not in a kitchen.
But people,
not in a food manufacturing plant with 300 feet on the ground.
No, I mean, this stuff literally sticks to everything. So good luck.
Good luck. Yes. Good luck. And then you got to clean the machine if you do find a machine that does it. Who's going to clean the machine?
Nothing.
Are you really going to clean the machine?
Nothing is self-cleaning. Nothing is self-applicating. Right. So, the format, right, is a good start.
Yeah.
Right. Opening things up, and hopefully we all get something out of it.
Yeah, and I think as we gain traction, like you said, we might bring a group of guys to one, and let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I said this to you at that dinner.
Yeah, you did.
I said, if I can take a core group of guys that I work with and put them all in a room, I guarantee you that you'd all get along.
Absolutely.
I mean, and that's kind of where, I like my partnerships to go that way, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons, but mainly trust. So if you've got, I'm not saying they got to be younger, but if you have people with a lot of energy, positive energy, right?
Yeah.
Who have some kind of core belief, right? Not just in the business, but in their, in their life, their family and what have you, right? So whether that's spiritual or some kind of discipline, that certainly helps.
Yeah.
And it's impossible for that not to show itself in everything you do.
Yeah.
Right. Including work.
Yeah. It radiates through your whole life.
Yeah. So when you get to see, and you've had an opportunity to go into contractors' offices here and there, you can see how they operate. When that place is clean, the guys are smiling, they're not dirty. There's a job board that's full. Everybody has a goal. And when they get onto a job site, they know what they're doing. It
tells you a lot about the leader. About the leader.
Yeah, about leadership for sure. And I think that's one of the things that certainly changed. All the information that we had, say 30 years ago, 20 to 30 years ago, was about how to be more efficient, time management. You had day timers, you had Stephen Covey, habits, and how to run a business effectively. Kelly was in grad school in a leadership MBA program, and her teacher brought in a book called Good to Great.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I'm like, I have that book.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, really? I'm like, so I opened up the book, and the receipt was still in there from the bookstore.
Oh.
And it was on thermal paper.
Oh.
Fax paper for kids. So I had to get on Google and see how to, how can you bring some of that ink back to life? So you literally can put it under heat, and just enough of the ink from the receipt showed that I bought it in, I think it was the Phoenix airport in November of 2006.
Oh,
Because we were reading books on planes.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all we had.
Yeah.
Right.
You didn't have the Audible.
There wasn't really a lot.
Yeah.
It was either sleep or a book,
Yeah.
or tunes, a Walkman or something. So, or book on tape or something, right? If you really wanted to get down, but there's a lot of books, right? And now we've moved to Audible. Or if you really like the book, you get the Audible and the
hard copy.
workbook that goes with the Audible too, right? But all that kind of stuff, it kind of comes and goes. So then it went into emotional intelligence. So you couldn't walk into an airport bookstore and not see
Emotional intelligence.
Which is
it's a big deal.
100%.
Yeah.
But it's funny, all those books went off the shelf after the 2016 election. Do the math.
Yeah.
Right? So then...
And then COVID happened,
and then you couldn't find a book on emotional intelligence. But when it swung back, everything's leadership now.
Yeah. How to be a leader.
How to be a leader.
Leader of your own life. Leader of people. Leader of spiritually. Leader.
Right. And, I have always been exposed to leadership values from an athletic side. Right. Just was.
Yeah.
And that all kind of, makes sense to a level. But it was great to see, there's a level, you got to qualify a little with this, right? Not everybody's going to be Bill Parcells or Mike Krzyzewski, right?
Right.
Or after Desert Storm, General Norman Schwarzkopf or Pat Riley, So
you're not gonna. Yeah, not everybody's gonna be the boss.
No, but it was pretty funny to watch middle managers try to do their hair like Pat Riley, and you're like, oh god, you're so full of shit. So you could have dribbled a basketball in here. You're just dressing like Michael Douglas in Wall Street. Give me a break, But that evolved into what's going on now, I think, right? You have to kind of go through that phase to get to something a little more realistic. And there's a lot of things now that are available to us that are super helpful.
Yeah.
From across different platforms, right? And that's good. Those are good things to immerse yourself in, right? And I think the people who can marry learning those skills with some humility and then having some good core values tend to do better.
Yeah, I think so.
Right. And they're a hell of a lot more fun to be around. Right. As I'm sure you've experienced.
Yeah. I've had the opposite,
Yeah, well, you got to have the opposite to know what the good ones are there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's
I think so.
Nobody always learns from the right way the first time. In fact, that's probably the first way to forget a lesson.
If everything goes smooth, I didn't learn anything.
If you're not feeling some pain in some origin of your soul or body, then you're probably not going to learn it.
Yeah. Or your finances.
Once again.
Yeah.
Your soul.
Yeah, your soul for sure.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But that's kind of fun to see, and I see it with younger guys, right? So now I'm the old guy, but there's some good energy in a lot of these offices.
Yeah.
Really good men coming up and focusing on leadership and not jive leadership,
really building people up.
Yeah.
And taking people from the bottom.
Yeah.
And helping them grow to what they want to be.
Yeah.
Rather than forcing somebody to do something they don't want to do. Where I think probably your era and mine, maybe a little bit of mine, where you were forced to do whatever.
When I was young, I was forced to do a lot of things.
That's what I'm saying. You were just forced to do the job. Whether you...
Well, it could have been anything. It could have been going to practice in high school. It could have been,
with anything.
Running.
This is what you're doing,
and
that's it.
Yeah, so, there's no easy to anything, right? We try to make things easier. I mean, maybe more efficient, but the other thing that was, kind of beat to death was culture.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Oh, our culture. It's like, okay. Have you ever been in a good culture?
Yeah, I think some people take that word way out of context. You know?
They've beat it pretty hard.
Yeah.
That thing is.
Yeah, I think it's seen its wave.
It's another one of those.
I think you can see it.
Business buzzwords.
Yeah.
That everybody wants to
make you feel good.
Yeah, until you have to do it.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's maybe
yeah.
maybe you're not the one that's great in the culture.
Yeah.
Although you're promoting it, so maybe check the definition of that again.
Yeah. See what's really happening.
Yeah. See what culture really is. But it is. It's you get leadership, and I was never in the military, but the Jocko Willink, mantra of there are no bad teams, just bad leaders. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of truth to that. You look through the history of, I'm a sports guy, so you look at the history of some teams, and maybe they weren't the most talented, but they had a great leader, or maybe you had a really great team, but you had a shitty manager.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have. I'd rather have the good manager and guys who want to try hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather have mediocre players and a good leader.
So, everybody's striving to be the best, right? But when you can get that combination of, support and guidance where you need it and buy-in, mm-hmm. Then the culture kind of creates itself. You don't have to start with the definition and kind of...
You don't have to tell people what the culture is. Usually it exposes itself.
Yeah, it kind of morphs into it, something a little bit more organic.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's what life should be about, right? Like organic talk, organic growth, organic.
Yeah. And I think that starts with somebody who's maybe seen some things or, learned from somebody else, right? Maybe a mentor or what have you. And then put in the work behind that.
It takes work.
Yeah. And then you can't just turn a switch on or off. You've got to like, if you want somebody to follow you or work with you, you've got to, create a reason why.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. Show the way.
Yeah. So, to just say we're going to do it in a meeting and then
say it again
go
in the
play
next
golf
meeting.
And go to a bunch of dinners and not be around isn't really helpful.
And say it again in another meeting, and then say it again in the next meeting.
Maybe an email with 30 people on it for emphasis.
Go team.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Team. A mouse in your pocket.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all those things have kind of, like I said, there's some people who do it really well. That Jocko thing's really simple.
Yeah.
And I think simple.
I'll follow him.
Simple's, better.
Simple is way better.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
All right. Well, let's move into the next one. In your travels, or as you've been in multiple companies, how have you found new personnel? And then what approach to training and retaining good talent in your travels?
Well, it helps to have an idea of what you want from the person first, like clear definition, right? Getting back to, an athletic background, regardless of what player it is or what team he's on or what sport, right? Leadership has to tell that person what they want, what the expectations are, provide some coaching, provide some direction. And then, if training is part of it, certainly adequate training, right?
Yeah.
The onboarding now is bullshit. There isn't any. It's here. You can't even get a polo, or a t-shirt or a hat. It's just, it's literally, oh, good, here.
Go, get started.
Yeah. It's like, it's like Apocalypse Now. When he lands in the DMZ and he's walking around, he's walking around looking for the commanding officer. There's one guy who's like, who's the CEO? And the guy looks at me and goes, I thought you were, so that getting back to, my origin, I was lucky to have that put together. it's just so different. So if first off, you got, the description of what you want from an employee when you put it out there, right? Searching for talent, should be accurate.
Expectations.
Yeah.
Set from the beginning, right?
And then, once you start getting candidates, right, it becomes pretty clear on paper, gets a little more defined of, what you're searching for, right? And then when you bring people in, it's like, it's kind of like dating, right? It's like,
It's been a long time since I've been dating, right?
well, yeah, I mean, just hypothetically, right?
Okay.
The first time you get together, it's really, are you the person that's on the paper?
Right.
Right. And then as you move forward, one thing that Alan and I professed was doing a murder board, which was if you got a candidate that you think is worth their salt, right? I mean, not to beat them up, but bring them in a room, some other people from other departments, and everybody gets to ask a question, see how they handle it. And in all fairness, you have to find the right person, right? You got to find the right fit.
Yeah.
And there's so much to it. There's another group. It's kind of like in the Jocko network called the Talent War Group.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen that.
I think I've glanced at it, but I haven't.
Yeah. I mean, it costs you double to 3 times the salary of that employee to rectify that. So if you bring somebody in, for $100,000 to do something and it doesn't work, and you spent 2 years trying to see if it was going to work, then you're into it. You got to start all over. So the cost or opportunity cost for a bad hire is
outweighs,
kills you.
Yeah.
So and I haven't been a part of a huge organization that has an HR department like that in a while, so I can't speak to what they're doing now.
Yeah.
But I see, these companies acquiring others, and some of that staffing that was there for years and had, legitimate success were
X'd.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times lately.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on with that. But you got to do what's right for the human too, right? Like, not just the company. Yeah. Because happy humans are
performers.
Better.
Yeah.
I mean,
they perform better.
Everything's better.
Yeah.
Right. They get along with the internal people. Everybody sees the sales side of things, or maybe the ownership, or people you're gearing your podcast towards people who are out in the world and out in the field and things like that. But the people on the inside, right, the order takers, I mean, that's got to be your first friend, right? Your customer service person. Like if you give them a half-assed effort, you're already at the bottom of the list, right? So things have to work through the system. You can have the best. You can have Tom Brady. You put him on the Browns, it's probably not going to go so well.
Okay.
This is like, so everybody's got to have a fit, and it's important to find that for everybody involved.
Yeah, I agree.
So
it's hard. It's a hard thing.
It's getting harder, and that's why I go like, there's a shortage of people. Like Stoneheart did a really nice job teaching people and getting them prepared to go out, sell floors, collect money. Right, do some of the basics.
Yeah,
have a decent knowledge of what's going on with concrete, how to put a solution into a situation, and things like that. So that feeder program, that educational program, was important. It was a running joke for years. It's like, oh, how do you learn all your stuff?
Stoneheart.
Yeah. Whether they're doing that now, I don't know, but what we're finding for the last 10 years is you got a lot of guys that were running crews, and they did a really good job running crews, right? So then you try to promote them to be on the business side of it. And it sounds good, but there's no formality to that, upward progress. It's just, oh, you do this well, so you obviously can do that well. And it doesn't translate. And then everybody's frustrated. Then all of a sudden you lose the quality you had on the install side. You get jammed up on the admin side. So
then it's a mess.
and then you're just waiting for the other shoe to fall. So there's some nuance to it, right? And then that's why in my recent travels last few months meeting with people, I see some offices that are really well formed.
Yeah.
Some good energy in there. Maybe some older leadership that's brought some people in, which is helpful. And then just some new guys are just ready to go.
Yeah.
So
Kicking butt.
yeah, it's kind of exciting to
I like it.
see all of it. Yeah, I like it too.
And I like what's going on.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, for the most part.
I think there's a change coming. It's going to be a slow one, but I think
we're ready. We're due. It
Yeah.
needs to happen.
Yeah.
In a lot of groups, like
there's a lot of older gentlemen that are ready to go. Is
yeah,
what
but in a right way too, right?
right.
Like
They don't want to leave it. They don't want to leave it hanging.
right.
They want to make sure it's still in good hands.
Yeah, some kind of legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They really
for
do.
sure.
Because some of them, I talked to one the other day. He said, "I've built this thing for 30 years."
Yeah.
And he says, I don't want it to go nowhere, but I do need to retire.
Yeah, you can't operate successfully in this business if you don't have some kind of passion or acuity for it, right?
Yeah.
You've got to be in it.
Yeah.
You can't just be around it. You got to be in it.
Yeah. And then I talked to another older gentleman. He's in his 70s, and he says, "Well, I want to push this off into somebody else, whether I sell it or whatever I do with it, however I retire. But I don't want to retire. Whoever I turn it on to, I just want to keep selling the floors for him."
Right.
And he goes, "And I want to do that until the day I die." And I thought that was the coolest thing in the world, because he's done this for 40 something years. And then he's, maybe he'll live to 90, 100, and if he sells floors till then, I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty cool legacy to be able to say, man, I sold floors till the day I died. I built a business and somebody took it over and it
cared for it.
It cared
wanted
for
it to grow
or sustain at least.
And if he can be some part of that, right? I think he's probably earned it.
Yeah. And whether he needed the money or not, I think he just wanted to sell floors and talk to people,
Well, once again, getting back to the dinner we had, like you literally have to die to get out of this business.
Yes. Yeah. I have tried twice and it hasn't worked.
Sooner or later, it's going to get us all. Hopefully, it's all later.
Yeah.
On our terms.
Yeah, I'm hoping for my terms.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think one time it almost killed me, but we're still here.
Yeah, rubbin's racing.
Yeah, for sure. All right, an industry topic.
Okay.
What's something you're passionate about for this industry, what part of it, whether it's the sales, the materials, something that you're passionate about in this industry? And then what advice would you give to the next generation trying to break into the industry? And what would you wish someone had told you when you started? Run.
Don't would be the first thing. Yeah, the last answer is the easiest.
Yeah.
It's because it's it's not for everybody. That's for sure. I think we've seen that.
I think it's not for everybody, but it's I think it's a good career.
It's not a bad career.
No, it's not a bad.
It's hard to explain to others. In mixed company, like at a dinner, what do you do?
Yeah. Gray floors.
Yeah.
Gray floors.
Yeah. But
yeah.
What was the first part of that question again?
It was some topic that you're passionate about the industry.
I mean, one of the things I like about the daily, right? The daily stuff is somebody's always bringing something to you that's a little bit of a challenge, right? A project.
Yeah.
And, I'm lucky enough to have, a pretty decent network of people that call me.
Yeah.
And that part's fun.
Yeah.
Right. And shooting ideas back and forth. That keeps the days moving.
Yeah. The camaraderie of the folks, right?
Yeah. And then if you can kind of, you do this more than I do, but if you can get on site and kind of walk through it.
Yeah.
And kind of,
those are fun.
Those are fun. Those can be fun for sure. I used to do it a lot more when I was younger and I had a territory per se.
Yeah.
I mean, that's educational in itself, right? So to have been able to do that for like 20 years, right? When COVID hit, I had already had that in my, as a collateral. So when travel was, all but eliminated, and,
Right.
and we started to communicate through, Teams meetings and different,
Yeah.
FaceTime.
Yeah.
I mean, having that kind of experience to where I can like, okay, you're going to go site visit. Yeah. Where are you? East Coast or something. Take your phone, see if we can FaceTime.
Yep.
If you can FaceTime while you're on the job block, it's just like being there, which was super helpful.
Oh yeah.
And then
Technology helped a lot.
a lot, right?
Yeah,
And then I think we got less afraid of it too, and it became more of a companion. It's not going to take over, but it's certainly a tool we could use, right?
Yeah, it'll make you travel a lot less.
Yeah.
Being able to see pictures and videos and.
But in order to do that, I think you had to have
Oh yeah,
the ability to suss stuff out, right? And and more importantly, like ask the right questions. Like I think that's one of the things that even the best, there's just always another question to ask.
Yep.
Right, and sure as shit when you forgot to ask it.
Yep. You walk in there and you're like,
or you go
dang
home. You go home and you're trying to do like the breakdown. You're like, oh, I was right there.
I have no idea the answer either.
Right, so you got to wait like a day and call the guy back, and then he thinks you're dope, and then you're like, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
I can't. But that was that's been helpful to me, right?
Yeah.
So I'm grateful to have been in those situations for a while.
Yeah.
And then I think that still helps me today for sure.
Yeah. I like that part.
Yeah.
And then what advice would you give to the next generation trying to break into the industry?
I mean, the most honest thing you can ever say to anybody that wants to get started in this is you're going to pay.
You got to pay to play.
You're going to have to pay, man. And if if you're not mentally ready to pay, you should find something that's easier, because the only way to get to a level that's going to be sustainable is to be on every day. There's no simple.
No.
Right.
And the failures, right?
Right. I mean,
You got to be ready for the failures.
well, whether they're, organic, like they're just going to happen, or they're self-induced, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Nobody gives a shit. Shit.
Nobody cares how it happened.
Nobody cares.
No.
I mean, that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So, I think maybe we shouldn't care either. Like, we shouldn't be so emotionally bent when it goes the wrong way, right? Although we do often.
Yeah.
We should probably a little bit of like a display of that disappointment. It's usually not so.
Yeah.
But I don't want others to see it.
Yeah.
Or hear it.
I'm learning as I get older just to be like, all right, well, how do we fix it?
But it's the bottom line is it still has to be fixed, right?
It's it. But you can get mad, you can get upset, you can freak out.
You can give up a 2-run homer in the second inning or the 8th inning.
Yeah.
You still got to go finish.
You got to finish the game. You got to finish the game.
It's all those sports references, I think, fit.
Yeah.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Just go fix it.
Go fix it. Make sure you win.
And
at the end of the day, make sure you
minimalize
casualties.
Yes. Yes. Minimalize the damage and the pain.
Yeah.
So for everybody.
Yeah.
And I mean that if you can do that, even though it really sucks at the time, it typically will pay off down the road.
Absolutely.
Either with your guys, mainly with your guys. If you run around and you look like you're lost, you're just having shit fits everywhere. Nobody respects that, right?
And the customers.
And at the
end of the day.
I mean, it's easy to bitch somebody out. It might feel good at the time, but it's never really great.
It's not the right thing either.
No, it's not the right thing. So
you got to be able to teach them. That's where the emotional intelligence comes in.
And leadership.
Right? Both of those things together make you, for you, if something goes wrong and you're able to stop, evaluate, and then teach, there's a value to that.
It's not like you're not going to let it fly a little bit. You're going to vent a little, but
but
and
then after a week or so, you might throw a couple jabs, but
I mean, there's like in the post-mortem.
The post-mortem, you're going to be,
hey,
remember when you forgot to put that A in the B?
Yeah. Yeah, sounds vaguely familiar.
It does. It does. We recently had one of those.
Yeah, but once again, whether you're trying to hire a manager, plant manager, materials supply, whatever you're trying to do, you got to get the right human,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Who's going to handle all the situations?
And that human's very important.
Yeah, it's always there.
It's-
So far,
I
don't think AI is going to replace
the human
in our business, not for a long
No.
time.
For writing and emails and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
I mean, even the AI stuff, you look at like I can tell you who's doing their data sheets with AI. I can tell you, because it sounds like
AI.
It sounds like a person who doesn't know what they're talking about wrote this, thinking they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I had a mistake not too long ago with AI. It spelled a bunch of things wrong.
Yeah,
and they sent the email anyways.
yeah.
And then I got a response that I didn't really understand, so I had my wife read both emails, and she said, "You spelled all these things wrong." I said, "Well," I said, "AI did that for me." She goes, "You better start checking it."
Yeah. It's
And so now I'm checking it for, not that I know how to spell, but you look for the obvious ones, right?
it's maybe it's it's my own ego. It will not allow me to think that I read all this stuff and wrote all these things and and communicated directly with people when it wasn't comfortable. So all of a sudden I'm gonna like acquiesce to Chat GPT. It pisses me off.
It's 100% ego, right?
It's 100% ego, and I mean but at least I know that part of it. But it is. It's like, but it's like any other tool. There's times to employ it, and then there's time. But even after you employ it, you still have to rein it in.
Yeah, and then there's times to be genuine, right?
Well,
because it's not 100% genuine when you're using AI if you allow it to do that for you, right? Now, if you give it the 100% guidelines and lay it out and do all this stuff, there's some genuine to it.
Well, I think certainly, but I've only used ChatGPT once.
Oh, really?
Yeah, only once.
Oh, you're not into it at all?
I went kicking and screaming.
Oh.
Maybe saying a few things.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, maybe my own, assessment of the situation. And I did it, and I saw some value. But then, I think this is to your point, you have to read to make sure the context is translated correctly.
You do?
And that's what I'm saying. I can tell you whose data sheets are AI and whose were done organically by a human who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell.
I can definitely tell.
I think I can tell. I haven't really looked at it like that, but now that you say that, and I've recently read a couple that I probably didn't agree with, I could probably see now.
Yeah, and that gets back to where, regardless, we're the experts.
Yeah.
Right? When specs come through, I think specs and AI are a terrible combination because specs are already bad. I don't see how so
specs are terrible.
They're bad.
There.
So, AI is only as good as what you put in it. Right.
Well, and that's been in the industry forever, and it's reading all that bad stuff.
I'm certainly not picking on architects because it's a good snapshot of where our industry is now. There used to be teams that did A&E presentations,
right?
Or, architects, engineers. They were out there all the time. Sherwin-Williams had them. Sika, has them. Stoneheart had a ton of them, and they were a support piece. They were the first. They were tip of the spear for the sales group, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's just not there anymore. The emphasis.
You think it's
there.
lost a little bit?
Yeah.
On the architect side.
Yeah, for sure. And the architects, they're trying to cover a lot of ground too. So if somebody's not in their office, and I mean, think about the turnover at companies, right? So nothing's stable. Everything's always moving.
Well, now people are buying people, and now it's being combined, and so you got that conglomerate, and then you got the old technology versus the new technology, and you got architects trying to put them together. And if nobody's in front of them telling them about the new stuff, then
Yeah.
how do they know?
Yeah. So, not once again, I think that's become part of our job now too,
Yeah.
to take that, hat, so to speak, and be able to stop the train and say, whoa,
Yeah.
what do you really want?
Yeah.
Because I can feel what you want, but it's not really
Yeah.
translating through your documentation.
And we have to ask that question almost on a daily basis.
Yeah. And it's not a bad thing,
No.
because those who can separate, right?
Yeah.
And those who can't, just are trying to just answer the question because they don't have either they don't know,
Or they don't have the background to change it.
yeah, or they don't have maybe even the skill set to pick up the phone and call the architect.
Yeah.
Right. Or send the RFI in or whatever. So there's, getting back to how do you explain what you do to, when you're at a dinner party? Like,
Yeah. My answer is I do gray floors.
and I try to get paid. That's it. It's pretty simple.
Treats me well some weeks and treats me bad other weeks.
It can be a fickle little
Yeah.
beast. For
Luckily,
sure.
it's more good than bad.
Yeah.
Sure. But I think the architect thing is, I've never been afraid to call and ask the question. And I think some people are more, as it is in this digital age or whatever, they're less likely to pick up the phone and call and send an email and hope it gets answered.
Yeah.
But sometimes an email can't really describe what you want to say in a quick manner. Like,
right.
It's got to be a whole paragraph email to tell you how to change from this technology to this technology when you could tell somebody in like 2 minutes. And so,
if somebody was
yeah,
genuine enough to pick up a phone,
that's what I'm saying. And I have won a lot in the past by picking up the phone.
Yeah, I've won with you by picking up.
Yes, we have won together.
Yeah.
And I won one yesterday because I took the time to meet with those people and talk about it.
Yeah, it's never really changed.
No,
I mean, it's
not. People
1923 baseball, man.
People still buy it from people, and I think they always will.
No question.
And that's why I think the talking among all of us needs to happen more.
Yeah, and I think we're kind of getting to that new wave of not only leadership but energy that is open to that.
Yeah,
right.
I like it.
I do too. So
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
All right, this is the final question before we wrap up.
What if I don't want to wrap up?
You don't have to wrap up.
Okay.
We can talk forever.
All right.
But we are going to have to eat.
Well, then I'll wrap it up.
So, as you know, and we've talked about, we're putting together a nonprofit organization with about a 60-day program for training on these facilities with guys coming out of prison, drug addicts out of rehab, veterans out of rehab, or just need a little guidance, right, after whatever they've been through. What would be your outlook on that? And would it be something you'd be willing to support?
Well, of course I'd be willing to support it. I'd be thrilled to be a part of that, right? Mm-hmm. And my outlook is, I think we kind of discussed it, throughout the course of this conversation, is that there's, regardless of your origin, right, there's just not that extensive training. And sometimes you'll see groups try to do it through like a labor organization or a journeyman's facility or something like that. But that's a day. Yeah. I mean, that's cute, right? Kind of get your beak wet, but it doesn't really get you going. All you're going to do is screw shit up. I mean, like that, you're just training people to see something like shiny, and then you're releasing them to go do it, and it's going to be, problematic, right? So you need an extended period of time. Now, if you're talking about in that extended period of time, learning about the business and learning about like life skills, right? Yeah. Like part of your day,
mental health stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean,
even the basics, right?
I think it starts with the basics,
Yeah.
right? I
Making
mean,
your bed, washing your clothes. Like,
where's your head at,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, even I don't think that plays any favorites, right?
No.
So, and then to have some examples, right? Like to share
Testimonies from other folks.
path, guidelines.
A plan.
Yeah,
Help guide a plan.
yeah. I mean, so it's funny. Like, take a look at like a guy who's played football, pro football for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
He gets done playing pro football. He doesn't know what to do himself.
Right. That's all he's ever done.
And that guy's a star, right? And then, like, I'm sure you've got friends that were in the military, right?
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
what do you do? What do you do when you get out of that? So you're in that routine for so long, you don't really have room for anything else. So now when you take all that away and you've got all this time, I mean, is it fair to think that that person has what it takes to move forward in a different direction? Probably not. And then once again, ego, pride, are they gonna say, hey, look, I gotta go relearn something? Well,
At 30.
most guys aren't.
No.
Let's be honest. Most guys, I mean, we're
At 30.
assholes. We're not gonna do anything.
At 30 or 40
And you
years
can't
old,
tell us-
it's hard.
You can't tell us to do anything.
No.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to, and then, yeah. So if there's a way to ease that burden and turn that burden into something more of a path forward, right? Like,
Yeah.
and take away that stigma of failure, because it does happen to everybody.
It
Some
does.
people just pull out of it and want. There's.
Some people.
I'll use myself.
Okay.
At some point in time in your life, you get tired of beating your head against the wall.
Yes.
Right? And I'm not saying that I was doing anything, crazy, but whatever that methodology you use to get to this point cannot get you further.
Correct.
So, and it takes a while to realize that that's not going to happen.
It
And
takes
that's
a couple bruises.
A lot of frustration.
Yeah, a couple bruises.
And there weren't these conversations. So, so you had to go seek that out. And I think there's better ways to seek that out and more opportunity to seek that out and more help now, which I think is encouraging.
Yep.
But unless somebody sees that in you and helps guide you, it's hard to find on your own.
Yes.
Because if you could find it on your own, you'd have done it already.
Yeah. If nobody kicked you, everybody needs a little push. Like we all need a little push here and there.
I mean, coaching,
yeah,
right? On another
Yeah.
leadership, on another,
yeah,
right?
It comes down to that again, right?
Right. So, now being a little bit older, maybe a lot older,
Did you say a little bit, right?
a lot older, not dead yet,
No,
still early. But
I
not
think
today.
you're still kicking pretty good.
Yeah,
Right?
not today, hopefully. But you can see those things, right? So maybe in the past, somebody's had somebody, regardless of what level you're at, and it's usually somebody a little older,
Yeah.
and give them a nudge.
Yeah.
But that could have been good for that time.
Mhm.
So you need those maybe every 5 years,
Yeah.
right? And maybe even less if you're
Or-
growing fast.
At whatever level you hit.
Right. So, after COVID, I spent a whole year with a guy, sometimes once a week, just plotting things out, and not necessarily from a business standpoint, but how am I going to get myself ready for what's next?
Life.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, COVID provided a lot of cover. So if we had time, more time than we should have,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Not that we wanted it that way, but
It is what it is.
right. So, not to get too theoretical, there's a guy named Robert Greene,
Mhm.
and he's got this theory of a live time versus dead time. And dead time is when you're doing something that isn't helping you move forward.
Mhm.
So, watching TV, playing a video game,
Hanging out.
run the list.
Yeah.
But a live time is when you're really trying to, use your head and
Push the ball forward. Right.
in whatever way it is.
Yeah.
And it's the same saying that it's been forever. It's like if you do just something little every day, that compounding effect. Darren Hardy, the compounding effect. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm lucky enough to meet that guy I see him in town all the time.
Oh,
So
he's from the area.
Yeah, so
Nice.
I talk, and I look, I'm like, oh, the compound. Oh yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah.
I didn't know who. Like, I just know him from being around. I didn't even know who he was, but great guy. But all those things matter, right? So there's great information out there. And I wasn't the greatest student. I'm more of a student. I think my ability to become a better student started around 40,
Yeah.
and I gave a shit.
Yeah. I think I agree with you there.
So COVID was great. It was great cover. I got a chance to do some work. We were talking about Audible earlier, 2 books a week, right?
It's a lot of information.
Yeah, and it was, so you take that dead time, you could say, oh, COVID, pout and moan around and maybe pick up some bad habits or expound on some already bad habits. Or you can,
Or make it worse.
you can double down on that easy. That's easy. But yeah, so to take some of that and move it forward to other people, whether they take it or not, at least they can't say they didn't have it.
Yeah.
And maybe down the road it resonates, right?
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good thing. I think bringing everybody together, being a part of that from all walks of life is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
And it's going to benefit a lot of folks.
One way or another, right?
Yeah.
So, you put that energy out there,
Yeah.
it's gonna find its audience.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you never know. So
Then you're going to have dead time.
yeah,
You're just going to sit at home and wish that it happened, right? I haven't found that way yet. I haven't found a way to sit at home and wish for something to happen. Have you?
No, I have. It's never worked.
Okay. I haven't tried. I didn't say I didn't try.
I put some effort into that. It's just maybe I'm doing it wrong.
I think I've been doing it wrong.
But there is so wishing without oh shoot.
Wishing without a plan is.
What is it? A goal without a plan is a wish.
Yeah.
Right.
Is it?
And it is. It's So
Yeah, and plan. And what is the next one? A plan without action is a piece of paper or something like that, or something basic. Like
yeah, you got
it all takes an action.
action.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all it
So
takes.
but it gets back to what your earlier question is, regardless of what. Even now, CPC is in its origins, like its jump off, right?
Yeah.
Everything's together. We're ready to present. We're ready for anything that happens. We are ready to go. So, official launch, World of Concrete.
Yeah.
Vegas. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
But all these things that I'm saying, I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Myself, right? It's never changed.
Yeah. It's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's the action that changes.
It is.
It's the personal action that changes.
It is. And
we're the same. We're in that mode where it's time to go.
Yeah.
Action.
Action.
And then just help people.
Well, we had that conversation too, right? With that there's a million ways to be in this business, right? There's a lot of ways to commoditize this business. I think that's what you're seeing with these mergers and things like that.
Yeah.
They're kind of getting commoditized. So what value do you add to somebody, to their, to their business, to their life, to whatever that somebody else is not doing?
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes that's easier by just being
Helpful.
not really expecting anything.
No. Just going through life, helping people.
What's going on? Oh, what are you trying to do? Oh, okay. Who are you using? Oh, okay. Here's what I did. And you're like, oh, thanks, man. Or I don't know, but I got a guy you can call.
Yeah.
That's as important as knowing the answer. Not knowing the answer, knowing that you don't know the answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a value to that too.
There is. Because I'd rather you tell me no than tell me something that ain't going to work.
No question.
Yeah. Because there's those people out there too.
I think we know a couple.
I think we know a couple mutual folks like that.
It's a big business, but it's not that big.
It's not that big.
No, it's not.
And the more I talk to folks, the smaller it is.
Right. Yeah. And that kind of, so that's where this kind of brings that sense of community back,
Yeah. And
which is kind of lacking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. All right. Well, then let's wrap it up. Where can people find your company online? And any last thoughts or shout outs to people that have helped you along the way?
Well, cpccoatings.com,
Okay.
right? Ray Gutoski, I'm on LinkedIn predominantly. Our website, I think, is a great tool. It's done not with AI.
Okay.
Believe me, for the last 9 months, me and the old man have been putting it together.
Okay.
And, nothing's perfect. We're going to find some edits here and there, but for the most part, I like the way it's platformed. Easy to use, very contractor centric in its beginnings, in its origin. And if we can satisfy the contractor and make it, relatable from his angle, then he can sell it forward without needing to hold hands or
to call you every time.
No, we want everybody to be confident, right? Because the materials work; they're great. I mean, we've had nothing but, great run for years. Now we're just coming out with a little different energy, and part of that is your marketing collateral and the way you present your pricing and making things easy for people.
Yeah.
Easier.
Easier.
So super proud of that. So that's where you can find us there. And then what was your other question?
Shout outs to anybody that's helped you along the way.
Well, Eric Van Engelen for sure. Right.
Yeah.
Like that guy is I guess he'd been more like my mentor turned into my uncle.
Yeah.
And grateful for it.
Yeah.
He's
a good dude.
And there's he's an old school coach. Yeah. You're gonna get it with the bark on.
Like it or not, right?
But it's gonna be right.
Yeah.
And then when when you prove that you're in it for the right reasons, then he'll open up his world to you, which so lucky to have that.
Okay.
For sure. And I think I mentioned I have a handful of coaches who've passed away, that were hugely influential to me. And that never goes away. You think about those people every day. So
yeah. All right.
But
well, thank you, Ray. I appreciate you.
Yeah. Likewise.
On.
It was fun.
Yes, it was.